From Screen Junkies Studios, it's time to tune in to TV Fights. And now your host, Roxy Striar. Today's episode is brought to you by America's Best Unlimited Network. Don't miss a show with unlimited data from T-Mobile.
What's up, Screen Junkies? Welcome to TV Fights. Yeah! All right. I was going to tell JT he could go wide because we were all clapping, but he left the booth this early. We're 5 seconds in, and JT's out of the booth. Guys, we have an amazing show semi-prepared for you today. We're going to be talking about what is the best show behind a paywall. That's a question you guys have been asking for a long time, so I'm really excited for that one. What Disney princess should join the Arrowverse? Hey, it could happen. You never know. Once Upon a Time could cross over with Flash. Maybe, in a dream world. And what TV cast would be the best to help you pull off a heist? But before we get to these questions and so many more, I'm going to introduce our incredible fighters.
Oh, there's so many questions.
So
many questions.
We had a fighter who we did tweet out about who was supposed to be here today. She unfortunately was unable to make it because she texted DJ that winter is coming.
Listen, winter is coming. We had an eclipse yesterday. We all need to prepare ourselves.
Yes, we have to prepare.
All right.
It was probably the eclipse too. Yeah, combination of that.
Do we need to prepare, Rox?
No, we don't. And this is going
we?
to be proof of that. Billy Business in the house, stepping in for Gina. Yeah.
I'm going to fight the answers that she originally chose.
Yes.
I've had no prep except for just whatever's already in my mind. So these are not my answers. These are her answers that I'm going to either win or most likely lose on her behalf.
And on top of that, this is a really happy anniversary present to you. You're
it's,
president of the, being with your girlfriend for
4
so
years
long.
with the fiance.
Sorry.
And today is my official 1 year with Screen Junkies.
Oh!
So here we go.
It's a dual anniversary.
Let's duel it up.
You're still anti-headphones?
Yeah.
What does that move?
That ear infection just hurts so bad that I'm so iffy about putting foreign things on my ears now.
It's fair.
Foreign things.
It's fair. Hey, it's fair.
Foreign objects.
Should we feel weird about these being on here?
I don't.
No, we look good.
Somebody who is actually prepared for today, unlike Billy. DJ Waldridge coming in hot off his movie fights victory.
Don't assume. Hey, I did. I did all right.
Oh, nice. Good job.
Yeah, thank you.
Killed it there. You made us really proud on that one.
I try. I do what I can.
Yeah. Good job. Happy to have you here. You
Thank
excited
you.
for today?
Yes.
You well prepared? You taking those notes?
I've got a few of them. I've got a few notes.
So a few more than Billy.
Slightly more than Billy.
Are you going to kick butt today
Steel
or no?
trap.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
All right. Sure. Why not? Sitting next to him, of course, it is our amazing Stacey Howard in the house.
Hi, guys. Oh, my gosh, so excited to be here. So excited to be part of the team. My notes are typed, so I'm even more prepared than this
I actually
one.
read
and that
your
one.
notes because I had to print them
That's
for
right.
you.
What
So,
do you think of my answers?
That's true.
I really just like how all of your notes look like political speeches.
Yes.
Like, America needs this right now.
Yeah.
That is true. For our
Get ready, you
fighters that
guys.
don't know, you come over from 6 Degrees of Feature Film, but
Yes.
how are you with television, Stacey?
I don't know. We're gonna see today. I've been on TV Fights once before, so this is my second go around. Didn't win that time. I'm coming in hot today.
You didn't
so
have to
I'm
tell them
pulling
that,
though.
though, because that was behind a paywall, so they don't know that you've
Oh,
lost.
That's true.
okay,
It doesn't
okay.
matter.
Yeah,
Literally
they don't
nothing
know.
before this moment matters.
Sorry about that.
That's
We all
true.
live in the moment.
Flashpoint.
Tell that to
Yeah.
Gina. Yep. Anyway, going over to our fighter over on the couch. He's not
Fact
actually a
checker?
fighter. He's a fact checker, but he's a fighter of a person. Ryan in the house. Ryan, so goal one is to put on the mic, the headset with the mic on it.
We're teaching him. We're teaching
Yeah.
him. We're teaching him.
I'm usually just on the stream, you guys. This is,
Yeah.
There you
as
go.
the business has to step up, so does business casual over here, and I'm ready to do it.
Is that his nickname?
No,
It
you
should
just
be.
totally
It's good.
stole my podcast name with me and Joe Starr. Thanks a lot.
I'm just
Oh,
trying to
nice.
plug, man. I'm just trying to get you a plug on your anniversary.
See,
Excuse
now,
me.
now he's learning.
Wait, so is your show business casual or he is business casual?
My show with Joe Starr is called Business Casual, and
Is that a real show, or did you make that up?
You can go to my Twitter. There's a real episode of Business Casual with me and Joe Starr.
Does an episode make a show?
It's the series premiere and also the series finale. We only did one episode.
It's a solid title.
It's a little mini-series.
It's a solid title.
So you're going to be looking in the YouTube room and the YouTube room.
I'll be in the YouTube room. I'll be
Twitterverse.
Everyone's got a YouTube room
Absolutely.
in their house.
I'm going to be looking also, trying.
full
Thank
of
you guys for
shameful
being in here. You guys
comments.
are so freaking awesome. Our live audience is amazing, and you guys who watch afterwards
Yes.
are too. If you want to tweet at us, you can use hashtag TV Fights Live. So Ryan, that's where you check out those tweets.
I'm there.
Yeah.
Some on-the-job training. I love it.
Hey, it's good.
Preparation. Hey JT. Now that we're just talking to everybody, we got a thumbs up from JT in the booth.
JT.
All right. I asked this question lightly. Is everybody ready?
Yes.
Yes.
Then let's fight.
Fight, 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 fight.
You're a
Here we go with round one. Coming from at JRS Pitboy 2008.
Jack Shipley.
Okay.
Jack, hi Jack.
You said it like I said his name wrong.
No, I'm just.
You just wanted to show your knowledge.
I did. Yep.
Showing
It worked.
off. It's all he has.
You're
you
like,
guys.
where I
It's
have
all he
knowledge,
has.
I've got to put it into the fight.
The one thing he knows.
So Jack Shipley would like to know, in anticipation of Star Trek Discovery, what's the best TV show found behind a paywall? We're starting with Gina on this one.
Sure.
Gina, you look good, girl.
Thank you. I've been moisturizing. I think the important thing when you're talking about shows behind a paywall, it's if you're not familiar, behind a paywall meaning like you have like a Hulu, Netflix, HBO Now, whatever. I mean, it's obviously JT. Throw up the still. It's obviously. My choice
Game of Thrones.
is Game of Thrones because it has to be Game of Thrones because
Do you like he wouldn't throw it up for you?
yeah, I know. It's like, JT, you're going to have to help a brother out here today. It's obviously Game of Thrones. Because, look, Game of Thrones has done stuff for television that no other show could do. You're watching essentially mini movies every single week on HBO. The production quality, it took it to a new level. The storytelling, it took it to a new level. This is something that we never thought we could see on this grand scale. Imagine, like, we never thought in 2003 when Return of the King came out that we could see something as big as like a Lord of the Rings scope on television, and somehow Game of Thrones made it must-watch TV every week. If I only had $20 in my pocket a month, at least 15 of them would go to HBO just so I could watch this show. I don't know how I'd watch TV if I didn't have money for cable.
I mean,
I
to
don't
be
know.
fair, it's not TV.
It's
It's
HBO.
Yeah.
DJ,
That
go
was good
ahead.
teamwork, guys.
Listen, I think the best show behind a paywall has to be American Gods over on Stars because it's fun for everyone. All right, it's got a diverse cast. It's got it dissects every aspect of American culture, no matter where you are in our community. There's an aspect that is represented by you, representative of you. In American Gods, which Game of Thrones, as great as it is, can't quite claim. It's also got a good mix of optimism and cynicism. It just doesn't punish its audiences one episode after the other. There's a good mix, and it's honestly unlike anything on screen ever.
Stacey.
All right. I'm all for fantasy and adventure. I want to ride dragons with the best of them, you guys. But what we need now, as a society,
Vote for Stacey.
is to investigate the dark side of life and technology. I'm talking about Black Mirror. Okay, Black Mirror deals with our downfalls and true societal issues, grief, death, the afterlife, politics, imprisonment, our obsession with social media, the ramifications of online bullying. I mean, these are things that we need to talk about and not just be entertained with fire and dragons and battles. These are real issues that we're looking at here, and no one does it better than Black Mirror. It's what we need today, where we are. I'm scared, and Black Mirror makes me even scared about what could happen. We all need to listen up and look at the future, you guys.
Let's fight it.
All right.
Black Mirror is misery porn. Black Mirror just exists to make you sad about everything. You said it yourself. It just makes you sadder.
It's
That's
so
all.
weird that you started with this is what society needs. I would
porn.
like exact opposite.
Yeah.
Society needs much less Black Mirror in our lives. Like, I'm already terrified of technology and terrible things.
Yeah, I'd be down with Black Mirror if it wasn't like, hey, isn't this terrifying? The end. Like, you mean, what am I supposed to do about it? Like, what's
That's
the,
life.
what's the,
That's
what's
life,
the, yeah,
though.
but I live life. I am in life. I would like a show like American Gods that shows you some of the darker aspects of our culture, some of those things we have to deal with, and shows you through storytelling a way to synthesize it, a way to grow from it. And I think it handles that better than both of these shows, because Game of Thrones is amazing, but some of the later seasons have been a little shaky, and the way it handles the issues of race and violence against women aren't the best, and I think American Gods does a really great job of dealing with that and using the fact that it's behind a paywall and the violence and sex to tell stories in a shockingly progressive way that I would argue is what America needs right now.
But the question isn't what is the most progressive show. Game of Thrones doesn't do anything that is out of its nature for what it is. And also, I take offense to the fact that you call it nothing but dragons and fire. At its heart, Game of Thrones is ultimately about families and how you deal with your family and how you deal with loss, how you deal with people that are corrupt. It mirrors our society more than you are giving it credit for. Also, with American Gods, we're talking about the best show. American Gods, we're one season in. Not a lot of people are talking about it. Some, but not a lot. To call it the best is premature at best.
But you also don't have to deal with Game of Thrones baggage of some of the later seasons, which have been of varying quality. It's kind of lost a lot of. I mean, even last week's episode, a lot of people
Which
are
was
very,
amazing.
which was very. They had a lot of spectacle, but as far as the nuts and bolts of storytelling,
Dragon, Queen
the conversation around it,
The problem-
the conversation around it
Here's
is
the thing.
is not great.
Game of Thrones may have impossible expectations to live up to, but it's because the show was so amazing that the expectations were built to that level. No one expects anything of your shows because the expectations were not built that high. And if we want to get super, super technical, yours didn't even start behind a paywall. It went to a paywall, but
It's
I
behind a
digress.
paywall now. The first few seasons are all on Netflix. It started with Channel 4, you're right, but then it became a Netflix original with, I believe, season 3 started with that and now going to season 4. So it is behind a paywall. You do have to pay for the subscription service to be able to watch it. And I think you guys talked a lot about the emotional weight of your shows. Black Mirror truly makes us reflect upon ourselves as a society and issues that we're already dealing with. You mentioned race, you mentioned violence against women. Think about the episode where it talks about, PTSD with soldiers and how you have to
But my show deals
almost
with
erase
PTSD.
the violence to be able to deal with it.
Look at Greyjoy. Look at the way. Like, my show deals with everything yours does, but with a better production value. It has much more buzz around it. And don't give me the thing like, oh, just because people are talking about it doesn't mean it's better. If your show is better, everyone will be talking about it. The fact that Game of Thrones is worldwide appointment viewing, it got over 10 million rating this last week
Black Mirror
for an
had a
episode that
huge
you claimed.
response.
For an episode that you claimed was not as good, it was the second highest rated show.
I get what you're saying,
for Game of
but
Thrones.
every site I go to talks about American Gods. I paid for stars just for American Gods, whereas if I go to HBO, it's for a litany of things: John Oliver, Game of Thrones, The Wire. I got stars legitimately just
But
for
your
American
show-
Gods, and it discusses all the things
Your show-
from Game of Thrones, but is written better and smarter.
Your show could survive on an AMC. Your show could survive on an FX and doesn't change it. You have to put Game of Thrones behind a paywall, not just for content, but also because look at what they're delivering to you. They're delivering bigger than life set pieces that you can't even get in most Hollywood blockbusters.
But you can compare Game of Thrones to Lord of the Rings. There's literally nothing you compare American Gods to. It is unlike anything else.
I can compare it to Preacher. I can compare it to all sorts of different.
But
other
it doesn't even really relate to those.
But if you're talking in terms of style, because Game of Thrones doesn't relate exactly to Lord of the Rings either.
But
That's
it's
a
still
circular
high
argument.
fantasy dragons.
Yeah, and yours is a
Gods
comic
living
book.
on Earth.
Hey, Ryan.
Hey.
How you doing over there?
Good. How's it going?
Good. Any facts to check?
Not too much facts to check. Some people were arguing about what would actually count as behind a paywall or not. Some people were arguing that because Game of Thrones is on cable, even though it's paid for cable, but I think everyone is pretty clear that if you have to pay for it in any type of way other than regular programming, then that's what would count. So
I get it on HBO Now, which is an app, so it's basically just like Netflix
so
as far as the way I consume it.
Some people were saying Rick and Morty came up a lot, so I don't think that would count in that scenario because it is on Adult Swim, which is technically still like a part of your regular cable packaging, even though you might have to look it up online and stuff like that.
Good distinction, Ryan. I like it, man. All right, so based on these arguments, first of all, round of applause to Billy for stepping in on this one.
Killed it.
Really, really strong. I think that taking my own personal opinion off of this, because I loved all three of these shows, and I'm glad that you guys picked them for individual reasons. The one that I heard the most about why it was not just the best show, but why it was the best show to be found behind a paywall and why that was relevant and important. I didn't really hear that about Black Mirror, why it needed to be there. It didn't bother me that it wasn't always there, but why we had to. It just was more about why it's life. And I agree, and it's scary, but I don't think that necessarily makes it the best show. And the person that argued the both things was Billy for Game of Thrones.
Coming out strong right at the top.
Gina gets the point.
Gina gets the point.
Do you think he changed the name, or do you think it still says Gina?
I hope it's Gina.
I don't know. That's a good question.
JT, yeah. What's going on the Twitter?
Twitter and YouTube both seems to agree with Roxy. On YouTube, very much so. 66% of our first poll went with Billy and Game of Thrones. And then on Twitter, the only other show that came up about as much as Game of Thrones would be Stranger Things, which was one of our answers, along with Daredevil and a lot of love for Voltron as well.
Listen, Voltron is awesome.
A lot of love
Voltron
for
is legit good.
That's a Joe Star pick right there.
Yeah.
Joe Star.
We do the polls on the iBug.
Yes.
Is that what it's called?
The iCard.
iCard.
Shoot. One of these times I'm going to get that right. The iCard. Vote there.
You're so close.
Yeah, so close. All right, let's go to round 2.
Woo!
Ding, ding. This is coming from our Twitter friend at Miss Ina says, which TV character would you want to help you assemble your IKEA furniture? Start with DJ on this one, making our way around the table.
It's MacGyver. It's got to be MacGyver. He can make anything out of anything, all right? IKEA can be complicated. IKEA can be hard to figure out. He's the guy that even if you can't understand the instructions, he will help you make it. And not only will it be good, it will probably be better than it ever could be. He's one of the smartest men on TV. If
He's
you
the
just
smartest
man's
man
on
alive.
TV.
He's the smartest man's.
If you give him a Swiss Army knife, it will get done. It's not. You don't have to worry about him getting distracted by some shiny adventure. That IKEA table will be done before the episode begins.
All right, Stacy.
Okay, so God bless IKEA furniture for being the only way I can afford to decorate my apartment. I love it. It's so cheap. But it is so hard to put together, you guys. And what we need for IKEA furniture is going to be Sherlock, the Benedict Cumberbatch version of Sherlock, because there's a few shows on there just for clarification. He's not only going to make the IKEA furniture that you originally intended, he's going to use deductive reasoning to figure out what you really need and make that furniture is something that's going to work for you. He's going to look at your life and what a hot mess you are and say, you don't really need that tchotchke. You don't really need that table. You need so-and-so to fix your life and all the problems in it. So I'm going to make something even better. He doesn't need the instructions, okay? He's going to do what you really need. Use what you really need for it.
Billy.
I chose
The Doctor.
from Doctor Who.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll tell you why Doctor Who, and this is great. Even though I don't like Doctor Who, I'll tell you why I would still
That
choose
makes
the
me
Doctor.
sad. That makes me sad.
Which?
I don't.
Who are you choosing?
What?
Which Doctor?
I'm choosing
The female Doctor?
the Peter Capistrani Doctor. I don't know.
Nailed it.
I don't know what number he is, but I'll tell you why I would choose the Doctor. There's a multitude of reasons. One, he's got the best screwdriver out of anybody, because everybody knows that IKEA furniture is only hard because of two things: instructions and terrible tools that they assemble with you. You got a sonic screwdriver. What can't that thing do? That's a legitimate question. I don't know. What can't that thing do? Somebody tell me. The other reason why I would do this is because the doctor has been around for a bajillion and a half years. Fact check me on that. He's been around for so long that he's assembled every type of furniture that I could possibly need. And guess what? If he does it wrong and he pisses me off, I can kill him. He'll just come back again as someone else and try again. It's so easy. Why would you not? Or he would just time travel me back and we would go to the IKEA store and he would stop me from even buying it. There's so many options with the doctor that it's endless. It's stupid. It's so stupid.
All right, let's fight it, guys.
Can I tell you the one thing the sonic screwdriver can't do?
What can it do?
Work on wood.
Well, but it's IKEA furniture.
Legitimately, that's like the one rule it has.
You're assuming that I bought a wooden chair. What if I bought like a metal cabinet?
Here's the other problem with Sherlock and Doctor Who. Both shows I love, by the way. I'm a big fans of both. However, both Sherlock and the Doctor get bored extremely easily. It would not even if you could even convince them to try and help you build IKEA furniture, they would be so out of it within a couple seconds, and they would drag you onto an adventure that would probably end up blowing up your whole apartment.
That sounds great to me. New apartment. Hey, let's redecorate.
Yeah, but as far as building your IKEA furniture, you want somebody that will be devoted to that and will be able to get that done before any adventure even happens.
Can I tell you my problem with MacGyver? Because I believe that MacGyver could assemble IKEA furniture.
Yes.
The problem with MacGyver is that we all know that MacGyver just uses whatever's closest to him. I want my IKEA furniture to look beautiful and polished and finished. His is going to be just like some shoestring and some bubble gum and like a piece of tape. He's going to be like, dude, trust me, this is gonna work. It's like, yeah, you're functional, but I want it to look finished and pretty, and MacGyver is not about that.
Listen,
if you try to argue that MacGyver is about finesse and style,
no.
Now,
I'm saying if he uses whatever's available to you, IKEA provides everything that you need.
IKEA do they? I always have missing pieces. I always have missing pieces.
That's why IKEA is so frustrating, is because they provide terrible parts. I'm sorry, we will never get an IKEA sponsorship.
And so he will have his toolkit, and he will be able to provide the pieces that you need. Here's the thing. I want you to imagine the beginning of every one of these episodes, all right? Doctor Who begins with him going, hey, this sucks. Let's go on an adventure, all right? And so you never get back. The IKEA furniture never gets built. How does the Sherlock episode begin? It begins with Sherlock being like, this is a nightmare. Why bother with this? He shoots the wall a few times and goes on a roundabout way to solve a mystery. MacGyver begins with him finishing the IKEA furniture. Like, he's just finished, like, that was great. I've got a call from the Phoenix Foundation.
It's going to look like ass.
It's going to look like it's meant to look like.
Here's the problem with Sherlock. I agree with DJ that with Sherlock, he's going to look at it, he's going to be like, this is terrible. Who would make this? Then he's going to want to track it back to the manufacturer. Then he's going to want to track it back to the planning stages. He's going to go to IKEA. He's going to try to solve the mystery of why these pieces of furniture are so shitty that you're never going to get that chair done, because
Sherlock
building the chair
is
is
one of the smartest men on television.
Yeah, so
not
he has
only
bigger
is he an
fish to
absolute genius
fry
with
than a
mathematics
chair.
and physics, he will make your IKEA furniture perfectly the way that you actually need it. Not just want it, but you didn't even know what you needed before you did it.
No, because it's going to drive him insane that it's so inefficient putting it together. Whereas the Doctor, he's an alien. He could do whatever he wants. And like I said, time travel. He could just zap us into an hour later when it's already done. So I don't even have to sit there and wait for it to be finished.
I was going to argue that does not apply to the rules of time travel in Doctor Who, but that's a pointless argument to make. What I will say is, you pointed out that was Sherlock has bigger
rules of time travel.
Sherlock has bigger fish to fry than IKEA, which I agree with. But if that's true of Sherlock, that's 100,000 times true for Doctor Who, because the Doctor is trying to save the universe.
The Doctor has seen a lifetime of stuff. He can stop and take some side excursions. Whereas Sherlock knows he has a limited time on this earth. He's got to get down to the real basics. Why is IKEA furniture so bad?
That's why he's going to do it quickly.
No,
he's going to get bored quickly, so he's going to finish it quickly.
Have we ever seen Sherlock or the Doctor do chores ever? Either one of those characters ever actually accomplish a basic human chore?
I can legitimately not argue that, but what I can say is that wherever MacGyver goes, there's some sort of destruction. There is some sort of non-finesse. He's just going to put it together as quickly as he can, like you said, but it's not going to look like it's supposed to, because he just cares about functionality. Does the screw go here? Does this little cap that hides the wood,
do aliens even care about furniture?
Absolutely, they care about furniture.
Not at
That's
all.
Alien
Sherlock is
101.
human. Sherlock's human.
Just so we're all clear, Capistrami can be found at the deli counter. Capaldi can be found on the television. Ryan, what's going on?
A lot of fact checking during Billy's answer, so the poll got up a little late. He was talking about Peter Capaldi, who is the 12th Doctor.
That's what I said.
Great, by the way. Capaldi's great.
That is
Yeah.
what he said, for sure.
Oh, fair enough. And DJ, good job getting a MacGyver and a MacGruber answer in 1 week on Screen Junkies. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, what can I say?
I like that.
What can I say? I know what I like.
And the argument that the sonic screwdriver does not work on wood, but I looked it up on IKEA, and most of IKEA's products use particle board and cardboard.
It has to be to be technological in nature.
So I'm just telling you what IKEA says that their things are made of, you guys. I'm just checking the facts.
Don't fight with Ryan, DJ.
And
I'm sorry.
A lot of fun answers that didn't come up were Inspector Gadget and Ron Swanson.
I also
Ron Swanson would be
loved the Flash kept coming
Swanson
up.
would be
The
good.
Flash would have killed that. He would
He would
be
done it in
done
2
so
seconds,
quick.
yeah.
Also,
You're still
Billy,
another
there were
one.
people in the chat
they're
that
so
it made
mad.
me feel really bad for you that you weren't allowed to fight Tim the Toolman Taylor.
Oh,
there was a lot of pain.
First of all, not only can I not fight the Toolman on the one episode it's applicable, but I also have to fight Doctor Who, which I'm sorry, I watched one episode. I was like, this is garbage.
Which
I
one?
hate it.
One with Capistrami.
One with
What do you mean?
Eccleston.
Hold on,
Yeah.
wait though. You shouldn't have picked Tim the Toolman. He was terrible at tools.
He was,
Remember, it's
Ron
Al.
Swanson. Ron Swanson
Al
was
was
very
the
good.
good one.
Don't even get me
Al
down
was
this
the good
road.
one.
Don't get
Don't
me
mess
down
with
this
him.
road.
Round
Don't
two.
get me
All
down
right.
this road.
Which one?
All right,
Al could get it, honestly. He was
For me-
very manly.
This argument turned weird in a good way. Sorry, Billy. The Doctor arguments were kind of whack. Not your fault, but totally whack. This was between MacGyver and Sherlock. But I think that the problem against MacGyver, everybody kept saying that we would use like crappy things and it wouldn't look good. But he said it perfectly. They provide what you need to use. MacGyver like doesn't look for things if they are there. He just looks for things if there's nothing. So I think it would have looked fine, and I think he's the one who actually would have concentrated long enough to do it. DJ, you get the point on this one.
Good job, DJ. Good job.
Ryan, any Twitter or YouTube thoughts?
Just YouTube agrees with you as well. 71% went with DJ, 17 for Stacy, and 10 for Billy. Which is 10%, even though you admitted you have no arguments. I think it's still pretty dang good.
Yeah,
It's not bad.
10% is that's about what I would say that deserved.
A-okay.
All right, let's get into round 3.
All right.
This is coming from another Twitter friend at the Writer Geek. What actor traditionally associated with film has the best television performance? I'm going to just star this now. A lot of times when we have these questions, we forget to focus on the actual question, which is the best television performance. We're talking about the performance here, starting with Stacy, making our way around the table.
All right, so the reconnaissance was in full swing in 2013. Matthew was coming off high from his Oscar win for Dallas Buyers Club, and what's one of the next projects that he picks, the next big one? He could have gone with any other rom-com. I mean, he's been loving redheads for years, which not that there's anything wrong with that.
Good for you.
He's been his own hero from 10 years from now or something. He's doing weird things, but he picks a television show of all things. Why TV? He was back on top. He finally had the respect of his peers. Why this? True Detective Season 1. You guys, I am still shook. Everyone was so effing hyped for this season. It was insane. He has an incredible performance. He won a ton of awards. Him and Woody Harrelson's chemistry was off the charts. So out of all the films he could have done, he picks a TV show and he killed it. This is one of his best performances ever, including movies. Okay, so this is absolutely the number one choice for a film star who then went to TV. And I think it's his only television role today, right? I don't know if he did any other TV. So this being in one of his best performances, and it happens to be TV, I mean, that's the answer right there. Reconnaissance.
Billy.
I chose JTE.
Kevin
Who did I
Spacey.
choose? I chose Kevin Spacey from, I'm assuming, yes, House of Cards.
There you go.
And I will tell you, Kevin Spacey knocked it out of the park with this role. This was one of the first Netflix, if not the first Netflix original series. They needed a home run. They needed to crush this. Who else do you get but Kevin Spacey, who can get you to both be afraid of him and also chuckle with him and love him, but despise him, all within the same episode? Probably Emmy nominated, maybe Emmy won, definitely 4-time recipient of the Billy Business Acting Awards, because that is such an amazing
Fact check that.
performance as Frank Underwood.
DJ.
I chose Ava Green because on Penny Dreadful, you had a performance that wasn't just based around gimmicks or wasn't just your typical anti-hero character. You had somebody that could both be incredibly vulnerable and also strong and legitimately terrifying. It required a lot of her, required a lot of range, to the point that each season, it ran for 3 seasons, there was at least one episode that was structured and solely based around her acting ability. I think it really sold the entire show, and I think it's one of the best TV performances we've ever gotten.
But did she win a Billy Business Award?
She
That's
did
a good
not.
question.
Oh,
She
well,
wasn't
let's
even-
fight
Shots
it.
fired.
She wasn't even nominated for a Billy Business Award.
Did Billy Business watch Penny Dreadful?
Now let me
That's
tell
besides
you
the point.
why.
Worth
Let me
it
tell
just
you
for
why
her.
Penny Dreadful is not Ava Green's best performance. It's just like anything else she's ever done, pretty much. I mean, look at all of her other roles; they're incredibly similar to Penny Dreadful. She always talks like she's running out of breath. Whenever she talks, it's like this, like she's about to run out of breath in that sentence. The look is the same, the acting is the same. It's great. I love Ava Green. Don't get me wrong; she's a gorgeous actress, a beautiful woman, and she has talent. But it's similar to a lot of her other roles. Like anything, what did she do? She did that Dark Shadows movie. She's done the Sin City, A Dame to Kill For. They're all very similar, so that's not a standout role for her.
I
okay?
disagree, because both of those are kind of femme fatale characters, where in this, they actually underplay her sexuality. Something Ava Green's known for is she gets naked in her movies. Mm-hmm. And this show takes it to a level, because the first time it happens is during an exorcism, and it is a nightmare. Her acting ability is so strong in that scene. It completely overshadows the fact that she's nude in it, and also again the ability, somebody that's dealing with their own. I love True Detective, but McConaughey has a lot of help in that. He gets his weird philosophizing, he gets his makeup. A lot of the heavy lifting on that show is the writing. Frank Underwood gets his little wink at the camera and "Aren't I a rascal?" and it's whereas Ava Green really gets to go from somebody who is raised in a Catholic background, sells you on that, sells on the fact that she's legitimately scared for her soul, all the way to completely embracing her role as possibly one of the harbingers of the apocalypse, and makes you fear for the other characters' safety around her. I think there's so much nuance in it that it
So
really is captivating.
your argument is that, well, they had good writing, so the performances were good?
No, I'm arguing that for I would never argue that House of Cards has good writing, but I think it's based around Kevin Spacey's gimmicky performance, and that
I don't think it's gimmicky at all. I think Kevin Spacey. Sorry, I was going to call him Kevin Underwood. That's
Frank.
yeah. I think that Kevin Spacey's performance is incredibly nuanced and when it needs to be, and incredibly over the top when it needs to be, and that's what makes it so incredible, is that he's able to pull back the reins, but also he knows when to chew up the scenery, because he's a politician. That's what politicians do. As far as Matthew McConaughey, when I saw that picture that JT had of Matthew
I missed that, I didn't stare.
McConaughey, put it up real quick, JT. That just, to me, looks like Matthew McConaughey 10 years from now on a Saturday afternoon. It was just Matthew McConaughey. There was no, like, Matthew McConaughey is kind of like a Vince Vaughn. He can only really play himself. He can't branch out and do other things. Kevin Spacey, he can do so many other different things, including playing Frank Underwood, which is such a different character, and he nails that accent. Eva Green, just like she said, she's just kind of sleepwalking, doing the same thing.
Not at all. I mean, does Frank Underwood feel like a real person to you at all? Somebody you could even
do you know
relate
who's
to?
in a White House? Absolutely. Frank
No,
Underwood
but
seems like a real
he's-
person to me. He's a politician. Of course,
Ava Green
they're snakes.
sells me on her character's history, on her present state of mind, on the crazy things going around her that she needs to convince you are real and legitimately scary. And I don't think Frank Underwood even comes close to that. And again, like,
But Frank Underwood also, the reason why this performance is so amazing is because he was so relatable to us. We could relate with Frank, and then he let us into this world that a lot of us, and I'll at least speak for myself, are not privy to, do not really understand. And that performance showed us just how corrupt real things that are happening, obviously, you know, with a show like things will be fictionalized, but real things that happen within our government and how a lot of our politicians actually act. And he was able to sell us, and he was able to take us on that journey. And that's why that performance is so incredible.
You guys
I'm still
talk a
not
lot
sold. I don't know
about
where I'm going. So final thoughts. These are the last things. Give it to me. All you got. Stacey, go ahead.
Matthew absolutely did not lean on the makeup or the hair or anything like that. Yes, he's the same person, but he had to go through an acting that spans decades within that show. Okay, there's 3 different time periods, and if he was just McConaughey doing the same shit, none of those time periods would have stood out as any different. He had to, as an actor, transform himself for each different time period to make it real, to make it emotional, to make it relevant.
Okay, DJ.
Oh, listen. I think that relatability you talk about with Frank Underwood is a trick. He looks right at the camera and talks to the camera. I don't find anything relatable to Frank Underwood or Kevin Spacey's performance. I think it's Kevin Spacey putting on his thickest Southern accent, which is somebody that grew up in the South. I haven't heard anybody with that type of accent. Again, True Detective is an amazing show, but I think a lot of that is the ambiance. I think a lot of that is the supporting cast. I think a lot of the show around it gave McConaughey an ability to use his skills in an area where everybody benefited. Whereas I think Ava Green made the show, sold Penny Dreadful, sold the audience on what was happening, on why it mattered, because the whole show was about her. The season 3 has an episode that is literally just her and one other character in an insane asylum in one room, and takes you through her entire ordeal as she comes to grips with her own sanity. Did that happen in either of those shows, where literally you have one episode that is focused on just that character and their ability to sell you on an emotional arc?
Billy.
Yeah, my show had that the entire series so far. I think with Matthew McConaughey, we are going through I think he gave a good performance, even a great performance, but to his scale. That's as good as Matthew McConaughey could do. And with both of your shows, no one's going to argue that this is bad acting. I think that's just a stupid statement to say. But my show works because of Kevin Spacey's performance. You take Kevin Spacey away from House of Cards, it doesn't work. And some of those moments that you pick out as a writing moment or a moment that maybe you think is cheesy, no, those moments work. That's why they're memes. That's why this show keeps going. And the only reason why anyone on the planet could sell those moments and make you either get the chills or smile or laugh is because of Kevin Spacey. No one else could do that. The show does not work without his performance.
God, this one's a tough one. Ryan, talk to me.
Your show sounds dope. I need to watch your show.
Yeah, Penny Dreadful is
I'm
dope.
in the middle of season 3 and I'm
So many good answers also being chipped in along with our answers. Tom Hanks and Bosom Buddies is one I haven't heard of. So you'll look that one up. Not
That's
familiar.
a deep cut.
Deep cut. Not familiar with that. That's before my time. Sigourney Weaver on The Defenders is a recent one. Danny DeVito and Always Sunny in Philadelphia. John Lithgow on Dexter. Alec Baldwin, 30 Rock. So many good answers. Billy did a good job actually on all his guesses. House of Cards is credited as the first original Netflix series, and it has won lots and lots of Emmys. And then Matthew McConaughey had been on TV a lot beforehand. 3 episodes of Eastbound and Down.
That's right.
He appeared as himself on Sex and the City. And my personal favorite, a voice in The Wedding of Bobby Hill, episode of King of the Hill.
I almost put Danny McBride, Eastbound and Down as my answer
That's
for this.
another-
Yeah.
This one is really, really hard. You guys picked 3 amazing actors, but then you all really focused on why this perform. You all answered the question, so that made my job very challenging here. I think for this one, I just didn't hear anything that set him apart necessarily for Kevin Spacey, so it was between DJ and Stacey for me. Not because he didn't perform amazingly, but there was not that it factor that they were talking about. For Matthew McConaughey, I think that he is incredible, and I think that what you talked about at the end really almost pushed it over because of the 3 different time periods and having to change. And I don't think it takes anything away from him that they do add the makeup and that the story is well told. That's not his fault. I know that's a weird thing. But with Eva Green, even though the only knock was that we've seen her be an amazing performer previously, which I don't think means that this doesn't make it a great performance. And just the fact that we organize these episodes around her and it is just such a moving, and she doesn't have all of those tricks or trades necessarily. I've got to go with Eva Green on this one. DJ, you get the point.
DJ!
Run away with it.
It's hard to argue against Matthew McConaughey in True Detective because I love that show
Yeah,
a lot.
okay.
I love that show a lot.
I don't know.
Never
you guys.
seen,
Oh,
I've
it's
never
amazing.
seen Penny Dreadful.
Penny
Penny
do
Dreadful was
recommend it.
amazing. But that one could have gone. That was tough. Ryan, what are the people saying?
Yeah, that was by far the closest vote we've had so far. It was split 42%, 28 and 28 for the losers, but you were 3 for 3. Matthew McConaughey was their choice as well. And on Twitter, I saw the biggest support for Matthew McConaughey as well. So you've been with the fans all 3 questions so far.
But I just went with Eva Green.
Oh, did you? Oh, excuse me. I thought you said McConaughey. Then you are wrong.
Oh, okay.
The fans disagree with you.
I was like, I did say what I meant to say, didn't I?
And I also got to say that Billy has done an amazing job convincing me that these are his
Yeah,
my
me
point.
too.
Yeah,
Me
yeah.
too.
He's so passionate.
Yeah, that one was tough though, and I get why they went with Matthew McConaughey. These are the things that keep me up at night. These are the things that keep me up. All right, let's go into round 4. Wow, we loved these Twitter questions this week. You guys are really bringing it. Coming from @McBaggins98. What is McBaggins? What Disney princess should join the Arrowverse? My dear friend Gina, you were fighting for Sleeping Beauty. I'll give you that. You're going first.
Sleeping Beauty is a really stupid answer. You might think, but you would be wrong if you were to say that Sleeping Beauty is the dumbest answer that anyone could have picked, and I don't know how anyone would argue it. Well, we're going to find out right now how we're going to do that.
So suspenseful.
So Aurora is a princess who went to sleep, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Fact check.
Yes,
Yeah.
fact check.
We got a
Why
nod.
should she join Arrowverse? Because we need more blonde-haired women in the Arrowverse. We already have Felicity Smoke.
Yes.
We lost a canary at some point.
It's true.
So we need a sleeping beauty to come to the show and save the show, because you know what? I'm asleep most of the time that I watch Arrow, so why wouldn't that transfer over to what they're doing? If I should be tortured, they should too. Someone should fall asleep to let them know. This is my argument. I just formed it. Arrow has been so boring that I fall asleep watching it. And guess what they need? They need to know when they're being boring.
Tell 'em,
Because
Billy.
sometimes you just talk and you don't even know how dumb you sound. But if you have someone on your team who literally just falls asleep because they're so effing bored with what you're doing, you just look over at Aurora like, oh, she's asleep. We should probably stop doing this. That's how you make Arrow better. That's why she needs to join the Arrowverse.
So is she in the corner? Like there's
They just
like
cart
a
her around.
corner meter with
they
her?
just cart her
Oh.
around everywhere.
She's
on
like
a
the drunk
gurney.
friend that you bring to the bar and she had too much, and you know how they like snooze a little.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yes, I totally got it.
Kind
now.
of wake them up. Yeah.
DJ, go ahead.
Arrow season 5 was amazing. Listen, I chose Moana, all right, because Moana is probably the most recent Disney princess. She is down for adventure. She's down to help her community. Like the characters on Arrow and Flash and the rest of these shows, her main goal is to protect her home. So she will be right at home with these characters. However, she has a bright, vibrant personality that would bounce off really well with these characters. Could you imagine her interacting with Flash or Supergirl? It'd be the most fun in the world. She also has a unique relationship with nature, which would be different than the other characters' abilities. Like a big highlight for me in Arrow season 5 was Ragman, because his abilities were different than the other characters. So it'd be cool to have her on Arrow with communicating with water. That would come in handy, particularly with the cliffhanger that they have right now. It would also be great on Flash, because we don't need another damn speedster. Have somebody that can talk to water. That'd be great. It would just be, I think she'd add a fun, unique energy to the world and a unique aspect that these shows don't explore.
Extra points to anybody who starts singing anything. Go ahead, Stacey.
I almost busted into song, you guys. It's been inside me this whole time, and it's bursting to come out. So here we go. Is this even a debate about what Disney princess is going to be the best. It's Mulan. She is a warrior. She is a soldier. She not only survived, she thrived in a male-only army. She defeated the Hun. She saved China and the Emperor, you guys. She has the force of a raging fire and the strength of a great typhoon. Okay, mysterious is the dark side of the moon. Mulan is incredible. She had to blend in. Yes, exactly. Yes,
You need those points, Billy.
Yeah, I know. I gotta stack them up here.
She had to disguise her identity and hide who she was, but she did it in order to save her family and take her father's place. You know she'd be there for anybody that really needed it. She had to overcome incredible perils and lots of obstacles in order to... Guys, she won the day. She saved her country, not just her family. She saved her entire country from peril and from invasion and from evil people that were in the snow, and the Huns, they popped out of the snow like daisies, you guys. She also had a pet cricket, a lucky cricket and a dragon. She's got animal
Does
friends.
the cricket come too?
Yeah, the cricket comes. Oh,
Okay.
the cricket comes. The cricket plays, guys. Okay, so she's got animal friends. She can ride on a shield. She's a Disney princess. She's amazing. She's a soldier. It's Mulan. This is not even debatable.
Okay, I first off the bat, she compromises her own character and morals for the better of someone else. We don't need anyone else in the Arrowverse compromising themselves. Done. Yours as a kid shouldn't be in the Arrowverse. She has a curfew. There's a curfew in Star City. She can't even be out past like 9 o'clock. Done. My person doesn't
what
detract.
does Sleeping Beauty do again, Billy?
That's it.
Remind me?
Here's the thing. You guys chose two kick-ass princesses. Moana, she's leading her own little island. Yours saves like all of China. Sleeping Beauty doesn't do shit. So if you take your princesses away from where they're supposed to be, they're left without kick-ass women. We have kick-ass women in the Arrowverse. What we don't have is the little Oscar music playing people off to let them know when they're being boring. You take Sleeping Beauty away and put her in the Arrowverse, guess what? Doesn't hurt Sleeping Beauty because she's already boring. Doesn't hurt the Arrowverse because it's already boring. That way, mine should join the Arrowverse because it makes sense. Yours hurts your characters and it hurts the show.
For somebody who enjoys the shows and would like to see a character that helps continue the enjoyable show, I think Moana is the one that would have the best rapport with the characters.
So you don't care that she's leaving her island to just be destroyed?
They're exploring other islands at the end of that movie, and her
And so
island
there's
is
no
well
one to lead
protected.
the expedition?
Her father's leading the expedition.
So
Also,
Moana's not a strong princess is what you're telling me? Because she
fought-
doesn't serve any purpose?
She does serve a purpose, but she would serve an amazing purpose on this show. And also, she fought a giant lava monster, which would come in handy with the ubiquitous different types of enemies the world would face.
And you think the boys
Also,
are going to play second fiddle to this girl who comes from an island that they've never
I don't think
heard
anybody
of?
would have to play second fiddle.
Great
I think they
point,
would team
Billy.
up really
Mulan
well.
has already earned the respect of all the men in that army. She knows how
By
to
compromising
go
her
out of her.
own
Who
characters.
cares? She saved the day.
I don't care. I want my
She-
heroes to have morals that they won't compromise. That's
she
why I
is
don't like
already-
Oliver Queen.
She has already had to go out of her element and out of her comfort zone to go save someone else and save all the other people. So she had to completely change who she was and hide her identity.
There are already
We already know she
strong
works
women
well together
in
with
the
others.
Arrowverse.
Well, and one of those-
we don't need more that are taking away from where they are from where your picks are coming
One
from.
of-
She
They
didn't
want
take
to go with
anything
the too
away.
many strong women argument?
Yeah,
She
one of
didn't
those.
take anything away.
I got nothing else here.
One of those.
Here's the thing. I want strong women everywhere, not just in Central City and Star City. I want them in China. I want them in Moana Island. I don't want to take them away and put them all in one spot. I want strong women everywhere.
Sleeping Beauty would
And
be,
you
or
take
Sleeping Beauty
them-
would be a liability. Okay, she's like chunked over in the corner. God knows she's gonna get some arrow stuck in her. Someone's gonna shoot her. You
made
gotta be,
her like
you gotta
a
be
little.
so worried about
Cisco
her.
made her a little tube, so she just sits there when she falls
You
asleep, and
gotta
they
be
put her
so worried
away.
about her body.
One
She
of
can't wake
the
up to take care of
strong
herself.
women that is in the Arrowverse is Katana, and yes, I know Katana is Japanese and
She's
Mulan
got
is
your back.
Chinese, but
Her
functionality.
soul traps the
It does. Same basic
This is
rules.
Katana.
But Katana's already in the show. Mulan basically serves a similar function. I know they come from different nationalities, but
Who or what? All right.
functionally they would be the same. In season
Proceed
3, the
with
season she was
caution.
in
Proceed with caution.
is the worst season of the show.
Just ring that bell, girl. Ring that bell.
Once we get into the territory, okay.
Oh, this is my
Nobody
favorite
has-
TV fight
yeah.
ever.
Nobody's done anything wrong. I just got nervous. Ryan, talk to me.
A lot of fans are just
Young
A lot of fans
man.
are just genuinely starting to be concerned that Billy doesn't like any of these franchises at all. Knowing
How Billy's my producer for Flash and Friends?
yeah, as a main producer for Screen Junkies, people are starting to be concerned about his expertise. Moana Island is Montanui in the
That's what I
South
said,
Pacific
Moana Island.
Yeah, so that's about
That's
right.
what it translates to.
And I overheard a Sleeping Billy mistake, and I want to make that a hashtag, you guys. So hashtag Sleeping Billy and hashtag
It's already
Flashpoint
going.
Andy.
Hashtag Sleeping Billy.
Billy. Okay, notes.
I've seen people say, where can they find the polls?
The polls, they're in the top right corner. You have to click on an eye. Sometimes they don't show up. If you refresh your page or turn on or off your annotations, just switch whatever it's on right now, it'll show up. There's also, oh boy, is there a whole long list of instructions in the description of the video that you can click on if you need more info.
All right. Good fight here, guys. Good, clean fight.
Was it?
Yep. Billy.
Yes.
Your Sleeping Beauty argument rocks. I think that you did everything you could. To the two people that this is between, DJ and Stacey.
come on.
Really? I'm so sorry. I think both of these are really strong arguments, and these are two of my favorite Disney princesses. Moana being my newer favorite. I just dressed up like her. I love her so much. But I think it was a really good point that she is a child. And this is a scary place, and I'm worried for Moana's safety. Mulan just kills it, and I feel like she would fit in stupendously. That's the right word, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes.
Doesn't it sound like it would have negative stupendously?
Stupendous.
That's how you,
bad,
that's
but
how
I
you
saved
can,
it.
that's
Say
how
the
you can
British
reverse
accent.
it.
Stupend.
You can
gotta
pull a 180
yeah.
in mid-sentence if you have to.
Mulan would be stupendous.
You gotta say with a British accent, stupendously, like that, and then it
Was that
sounds good.
British?
Yep.
Stacey, you get the point.
Yeah.
Okay, now that the round is over, how was anyone supposed to argue Sleeping Beauty?
I don't
think
know
the way
what
you
she was
did.
going
I think
with.
the way you did.
No,
I think that's it.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, well, I would love to know what the original
Gina,
case
tweet it out.
was.
Greatest
Please.
history.
Yeah.
Let us know, Gina.
How do you like?
Also
That's
let
the
us
one
know where
princess
you
that
are.
is like handicapped the entire movie that she's in.
What princess would you have chosen?
Jasmine.
Good call.
Why? What would Jasmine do?
Because she's a tiger?
Jasmine's a freaking fighter,
Yeah,
and
that's
she's
true.
a little rebel. That's why she needs to be on that team. And she's got a
she's in crop
tiger.
top.
She's got a tiger.
She does have a tiger.
And a
That's
crop
true.
top. She's got a lot of
And
strength.
the crop top is a lot of
And
strength.
she's like, I don't think there are any Indian people or
Yeah.
any Indian heroes on the Arrowverse show.
Yeah,
so.
get some diversity in there, man.
Isn't she Arab?
Yeah, she,
Oh, I don't know where Agrabah's supposed to,
Arabian-
because Agrabah's
yeah.
fake,
Arabian
right?
Nights?
Ryan!
Let us know in the comments down below.
Because there was just that casting issue. They cast an Indian person to play Jasmine, and people were upset with it. So,
Of
Anyway.
course.
going to Ryan, talk to me
Yeah.
about the interwebs.
YouTube and Twitter definitely agreed. They were feeling Mulan as well. They thought I saw a lot of people on Twitter saying that they thought Moana would do better on like a lighter show in the Arrowverse, like maybe
Flash.
Flash or Supergirl or something like that. But Mulan was a pretty heavy favorite in all
Any
this.
love for Sleeping Beauty?
People,
Give me 10%.
it's 9% now. It's dropped down to 9.
You're falling.
You've
You're
lost my
falling.
vote. I can't stress enough. People want to vote for Billy so badly, and they're openly staying in the comments like, "God, I really want to give him the vote, but I
tried
just
so
can't."
hard,
They
guys.
want-
Right
I've
now,
tried so
you
hard.
better get your life.
just to check in, because we're going into this round 5, Billy and Stacy are both tied. DJ has 2 points, but Billy and Stacy each have 1. So let's get to round 5. In honor of Logan Lucky, which TV cast would you enlist to help you pull off a heist? We're starting with DJ on this one and making our way around the table.
Listen, for a heist, you want a diversity of skills. You want people that can serve different roles so that you can accomplish it together. You don't just need brains, but you need brawn. You need special abilities, all right? Who's going to give you the diverse set of skills that would not only help you perform a heist, but help you perform an excellent heist? The Defenders, all right? You've got Daredevil and his special abilities with his heightened senses and radar sense. So if you need to crack a safe, he's able to feel that. If you need to know if people are sneaking up on you, he can tell you that information. Also, you need to prepare for the heist. Who's better at detecting and following people than Jessica Jones? We've seen her use her abilities on her show and The Defenders, where she's able to get information out of people, get the information you need. Hey, in case things go wrong, it'd be nice to have somebody that has unbreakable skin and can plow plow through walls, so Luke Cage is there for you. And finally, listen, you got to spend money to make money. All right, so you need somebody that's going to bankroll your heist. Iron Fist has got you covered with that.
Stacy.
Okay. Miss Frizzle's crazy ass would be so enthusiastic to take those kids on a heist, okay? It would involve science and physics and teamwork and working together, and they would all get A+, okay? I'm talking about the Magic School Bus, you guys. The episodes that are listed, you can go on their Wikipedia page. They've basically gone on so many adventures and heists together already, okay? There was an episode where they explored the human body. They got lost in space. They rode giant frogs. There's even an episode called Revving Up, where the kids shrink themselves and sneak into a junkyard to get their bus back because it's been impounded and steal it back. That's basically a heist. They already did it, you guys. Okay? So it's hello. Also, their children, they're not going to go to jail if they're caught. They're going to go to juvie. They're out by their 21. Or I don't know how the judicial system works in America. But
you know in other countries? Mm-hmm. Do you know in other countries?
I have no idea.
Oh.
Yeah, other countries.
In England? They'll just kill you.
Yeah. Mass executions in the street. This episode's great. So, yeah, they aren't going to get in trouble. Okay, they're children. People are going to feel sorry for them and be like, oh, no, it's fine. Your teacher made you do it. Miss Frizzle will go to jail. She'll escape. She'll be fine. It's the kids from the Magic School Bus. They're the perfect heist group because they will get away with it.
Billy.
Yes.
Guys, the correct answer is Veronica Mars. You have TV Kristen, in her famous role as Veronica Mars. It was also a movie.
Is it Kristen Ritter?
Sure. It was.
Oh yeah.
It was a Kristen. It's Kristen Dax Shepard. Kristen. You have Kristen as a detective, as a private investigator. But the reason why you want her as part of your heist is threefold, actually. One.
Listen up, teacher.
One, she's so smart.
She is
She
smart.
can come up
She
with
is
a
smart.
plan that you wouldn't even be able to
Sure.
think of on your own. Two, she's a pretty young woman. Could be a nice distraction for security guards. But most importantly is number three. You laugh because you know this is so good. It's nervous laughter.
Yeah.
Number three, she's actually a detective. And why is that important? Because everyone thinks about how do I pull off the heist start to finish. But because she's a detective and she's used to going after bad guys, she thinks of everything in reverse. So she's going to think of every way that she could have caught someone doing a heist, and then process of elimination, she can eliminate those heists ways of doing things. So that is why Veronica Mars and Mrs. Dax Shepard is the best to have on your heist.
We all know it's Mr. Kristen Bell. All right, that's
Kristen
how
Bell.
that that's how that relationship
That's what I
works.
said.
From Beauty
And
and the
those are all
Beast, yes.
amazing points that all apply to just one member of my team, which is Jessica Jones. And on top
Here's
of
the
that, you have
problem.
superpowered Daredevil,
No.
Luke Cage,
Here's the
and
problem.
Iron Fist.
I'm gonna run down the problems. First of all, what deadbeat parent is gonna sign a permission slip to let my kid
let them
go
go
on
all
the
kinds of
magic
things.
school bus to
And what
go?
kind of
Miss
teacher is
Frizzle's
Miss
fine. This is like
Frizzle?
a
This is an
She's the
accredited.
best teacher
She's
of
a
all time.
teacher in an accredited school. Do you know how quickly this controversy would swirl up? She wouldn't be
They
riding that
did
magic school
all
bus for
They
very
kinds of
long.
found the
things.
magic school bus.
That magic school bus would be donezo.
Yeah.
Your problem
Not at all.
is one, Luke Cage. I would not want at a heist because he is the most recognizable body form. If you have any sort of witnesses, they're obviously going to remember the guy that was like 7'50", and I don't care if he bankrolls. I have to spend more time with Iron Fist. No amount of money in the world is worth hanging out with Iron Fist anymore.
Guys,
Listen,
come on,
Daredevil
no.
knows somebody that can build you the costume you need to not only cover your features, but protect you in case of harm, all right?
Costume's super important.
And
Let's
can you
talk
tell
about
me-
magic,
but can you tell me
and science.
which-
They can shrink themselves. They'll shrink themselves, walk through the
They-
lock,
But
and
then here's the
go out,
thing:
and then
you have
come back
30.
out.
You have 30 kids on that magic
Yeah,
school
what
bus.
are
You
they
got to
doing?
divvy
12.
that money up 30 different ways, and you
they're-
know the Frizz is taking a bigger cut than everybody else.
Yeah,
Frizz.
she is. That's right, because she's a smart teacher, which is fine. Those kids don't need. What are they buying? Hubba Bubba bubble tape? They don't need anything.
What function are the kids serving? Like with if the Avengers
Just
break into
that's
place,
30
if-
extra witnesses that I'm gonna have to eventually kill, so that
There's like 12 kids.
like Goodfellas style, so that
Oh
I
my
get to
God.
keep my money and I don't have 30 other witnesses.
Yeah, so
Killing kids
with the
now.
defenders,
That's
you have
right, it's round 5.
With defenders, you have Daredevil's extrasensory.
cracks here.
You have Daredevil's extra senses. You have Luke Cage as solid muscle.
Also, these
You've
are
got
good
Jessica
guys.
Jones
These good guys are going to be
abilities.
like, dude, you're coming to us to want to plan a heist? Are you crazy?
Listen, sometimes
Are
you need to steal
stupid?
stuff from the bad guys. Sometimes you need to perform a heist on the bad guys. They have special materials that you need that they should not have, and the police aren't there to help you. So the defenders have to sneak it and do it themselves, and they each have different skills that help on the heist. What can you even name the crew that Veronica Mars would bring with her?
That's
Such
not
a
the
mean
point.
question,
That's not the
Ethan.
point. The point is, so let's say we are stealing from bad guys. Why can't I just take Luke Cage in there and just have him bust some skulls and just take
Because
it?
you
Guys,
need sometimes
extra
a heist
credit.
just seems like a waste of their
Extra
time.
credit.
I have to
Extra
kill
credit.
this because I know where I'm going, and it's just mean to make you guys continue. Ryan, talk to me.
There's definitely going to be a clear favorite in the polls. A lot of great things are coming up. I just wanted to correct.
Magic school bus. I knew
Yes, it's not 7'50". It's Mike Coulter.
It's close though. To be fair, it is close.
Mike Coulter is 6'3", according to the internet. Some people point out that Daredevil's also a lawyer, and so that could help them when trying to figure out how to plan their heist. And thank you, DJ, for doing half the fact checking for me just by following Billy and correcting the first couple of things before
Is
I
there
even
more than
have
one
to.
Veronica Mars? Like,
No.
does she have other friends?
She has a
team.
crew. She has a crew of people.
Like
She has a lot of different
Yeah.
connections.
They would help her
So, legitimately,
with the
watch
heist.
Veronica Mars. It's a great show.
really?
They would help her.
Veronica
with
Mars
the
is
heist.
legitimately
I
a great
forgot
show.
to
I
add that.
recommend
Veronica's
it.
friends would
Magic
help.
school
Veronica's
bus is
friends would help. I
everyone's
forgot to
favorite.
add that.
I'll let
Hashtag
that
90s
fly.
kids.
I'll let that be included in the argument,
Figure I
Billy.
did not win this round.
This was just so because Billy got screwed on this one. Sorry, Billy. Stacey, you picked an absolutely absurd premise.
Think and shrink this is the best answer, you guys.
I dig what you did, but in no way can I vote for it.
Oh,
so I
come
have to
on.
go with defenders, regardless of what else
Yay.
happens. DJ, you get the point, which means that we are still trying to figure out who is going in the speed rounds. DJ, you definitely will be going in. Billy and Stacey, we are going to do a speed round tiebreaker to see who makes it through. Whoever gets this point does not get to keep the point, but does get to go into the speed rounds. Is that clear?
Ooh, I'm nervous. Okay.
Before that, I'll go over to
Okay.
Ryan. Ryan, and making sure that Defenders was, in fact, the clear winner
Yes,
in there.
70% on YouTube went with Defenders. Billy, you're up to 13%
Yeah,
now, so
buddy.
gaining as they go.
Progress.
That's very good for the fact that you didn't know if there was more than one Veronica Mars.
I didn't know if it was like a term of endearment or if that
Or
was
a name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Someone's got to time these speed rounds, by the way.
And his
Ryan.
name
New
is
job.
Ryan.
New job.
Ryan.
Yeah.
1 minute correct, or 30, it's 30 seconds for the
So
first
here's, I'm going to explain.
Oh, got it.
Okay,
It's like a 5-minute speed round. It's like,
I'm going to explain to the contestants the rules.
Perfect.
Here's how it works, guys. I will be asking you a question. You will both give answers. Then you have 20 seconds each to fight and 10 seconds to rebut. So whoever answers first will be fighting first. Whoever answers second will be fighting second. So it goes 20, 20, 10, 10. Did you get that, Ryan?
The saddest bell sound.
I found the bell too, so I'm set. Yeah, 20, 20, 10, 10. Let's do it.
Cool, let's do it. I love Ryan's enthusiasm here. So, DJ, I will not be asking you who you think gets the point on this one because it would not be fair. But, Ryan, I will be coming to you to see who you think made the stronger arguments just to prepare you for that.
Sounds
Didn't
good.
wanna
Just
throw that
along for
on
the
you last
ride.
minute. Seriously, did you just go cross-eyed?
Yeah?
It's cool, I guess.
hey, don't
She
knock
was
her
riding the
method.
magic school
Don't
bus
knock her
before
I was
she
method.
just trying
got
to
here.
distract Billy over here. I'm like, which way is she looking? I don't know. I win. It's great.
All right. Okay.
Oh.
Here are the questions that in no way, shape, or form has anybody seen prior to me asking.
Nope.
Oh, really? Oh, it's okay. It's okay.
Today is National Tooth Fairy Day. Here, I'll switch this one up.
Sure.
Today is National Tooth Fairy Day. Which TV character would make the worst Tooth Fairy? I feel like this music got more intense.
Yeah, this is
I'm
intense,
going
man.
to say.
Oh gosh.
I'm gonna say I'll keep it. I'll keep it House of Cards and say Frank Underwood again.
Okay.
Okay. I'm gonna go with the Fairly Odd Parents.
Which character?
The What's the guy's name? Cosmo?
Cosmo.
Is it Cosmo?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I got that right. Jesus Christ. Okay.
Off to a great start, starting with Billy on this one.
The reason that Frank Underwood would make the worst Tooth Fairy is that he's money obsessed. So guess what? You put one tooth under your pillow, he's probably gonna see if he can find any other loose ones in your mouth and pull a couple more because he's greedy. Also, I don't know about you, I don't really want Kevin Spacey in my bedroom at night. I think that would be a horrifying thing to wake up and just see.
Cosmo from the Fairly Odd Parents is already a fairy, so he doesn't have time to be doing tooth fairy things, so he's not going to do any of the work. He's like, I have stuff to do. He always messes up the wishes and the things that he needs to do for his own kid, so he's not going to succeed at this. He's going to be the worst tooth fairy. Did I use up all my time? No?
You got 2 more seconds.
Oh, no more arguments.
He's already a fairy, so he's got fairy training, which is pretty good. And guess what? You don't have to grant wishes. All you have to do is take a tooth and put a penny in, or whatever. Maybe this is his calling. Maybe that's why he hasn't sucked at it.
He has no time. He's gonna mess it up. He messes it up every episode with the kid that he's supposed to watch over. How's he gonna be able to do this? It takes a lot of organization to get all the teeth in the world taken and give money to those kids. He won't be able to handle this. Oh, you guys.
That was intense music,
rough.
man.
That was
real
music.
I love the way
I wish I could have heard it.
you can pick any character, and you were stuck on somebody whose name you couldn't think of.
I know. I was like,
Ryan, who do you think won these arguments?
At first I was partial to Cosmo, but I think after hearing the arguments, I would much rather not have Kevin Spacey in my room than even Cosmo.
I have to say it's going to make my life harder, as I'm going to have to try to think of these speed rounds on the go. But Billy, I think you had the stronger arguments. You're going through to the speed rounds.
All right.
Can I tell you which one I would have chose?
Yes, you can.
Hannibal Lecter. It would have been my thing.
I mean, like, talk about who holds this back.
Yeah.
Like, also anybody. You guys, those are interesting ones.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I also don't want Kevin Spacey in my bedroom at
He's
night.
already a fairy. He's gone through fairy training. What is fairy training?
I don't know. You didn't call me out on it, so.
Well, he's not that kind of fairy, though.
So, Billy, you are going in
I
with
never
1
watched the
point.
Fairly Odd Parents.
Billy, you have 1 point. DJ, you have 3 going into this round that I'm going to try to switch up on the... Talk amongst yourselves for a second.
This was a good game.
Yeah, it was. I
Yeah.
think overall it went really
game,
well.
kids.
Yeah. I definitely want to watch Penny Dreadful now because your
Yeah.
argument
It's
totally
fantastic.
sold
Do
me
it.
on
She's easily the best part of that show.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Here we go. You guys know how this works because
Yeah.
we just explained it. It's the same thing for you, Ryan. Here we go. Friends from College just got renewed for a 2nd season, and I will say that most people didn't seem to love the show. What next season of a Netflix show are you least looking forward to?
Iron Fist
Stranger
season 2.
Things, season 2.
Okay, Billy, starting with you with Iron Fist. DJ, you've got Stranger Things.
Iron Fist Season 1 is so bad that most people, myself included, couldn't even finish it. Then we get to the Defenders, and Iron Fist, guess what? He's the worst part of that show, too. Iron Fist is a terrible character. It's terrible casting. There's nothing that they can do to save that show anymore. The best thing to do is cut your losses and move on to another character. Season 2 of Iron Fist was announced the weekend that Season 1 came out, and everyone was like, oh god, this is the first Netflix show that they put out. It's terrible.
Stranger Things was fine. Everybody went over the moon about it. It's basically glorified nostalgia porn, but with something that everybody loves. Unlike Iron Fist, they have room to improve. Stranger Things is not even going to bother trying to improve because they think they got it right the first time. So it's going to probably get worse, go from fine to not so great.
What was that? Did you,
I think
JT's tying
JT
him
grunted.
up.
I don't know what that was. Yep.
The Stranger Things Season 2 trailer was the best trailer to come out of Comic-Con. They're taking what we loved and making it even better. We didn't love anything about Iron Fist. You can't find something about Iron Fist that people love. Stranger Things...
Iron Fist got more endearing in Defenders. He has the opportunity to get even more endearing in Iron Fist Season 2. Stranger Things, what did it have? Oh, Ghostbusters costumes. Ooh, things you remember from the 80s. Ooh, it's just everything you've seen before. It's every 80s movie you ever watched.
interesting now that Billy's just as prepared as anybody else in the room.
Yeah.
Now we've gotten to this place. Stacey, what do you think based on these arguments? Who do you think had the stronger ones?
Actually liked DJ's argument in this one that Stranger Things like it already delivered on the season 1 basically, so it's gonna be more of the same thing. So I like that he was like, we can't build off of it or can't build on it. So like, there's no need for a season 2. Like, it's not anticipated. Doesn't have room to grow, is what he said.
Ryan, what do you think?
Each time it went back and forth, I changed my mind until that last point. I with DJ saying that it's like, ooh, that stuff all got me genuinely excited. So I'd have to go with Billy on this one for me personally.
I think it's not which is going to be worse. It's least looking forward to, which means that when you're talking about if Stranger Things is going to suck or not, at least people are looking forward to it. If it lets them down, it lets them down. But I think that Billy made the arguments a little stronger. Billy, you get the point on this one.
It is hard to argue the positives of Iron Fist.
I applaud you, sir.
It is hard to
now
argue
it-
the positives of Iron Fist.
I was born. Okay.
Yeah, let's sing Beatles songs on our YouTube channel. That won't get flagged.
Yeah, the one artist that gets everybody shut down. I wasn't singing that song. I was making up my own song, Billy. Gosh.
Just sounds like it.
Yeah, jeez.
We all live in a green yacht boat, guys.
All right.
Can't you tell?
So I'm just working on the fly here, rephrasing these. The last episode of Game of Thrones has been divisive amongst fans. So this season of Game of Thrones, yay or nay?
Yay.
Yay. Oh, shit.
You're yay, you're
Damn
a
it,
nay.
fuck.
Billy, starting with
Sorry,
you.
I'm sorry.
That's okay, we're plugging through.
Yeah.
This season of Game of Thrones so far, it's only been 6 episodes, but it's been an incredible 6 episodes. We are getting down to the wire, and the show is getting a new sense of intensity because of it. We are seeing, oh man, when we saw those dragons burning up that army, I mean, we had never seen anything like that on TV before. Nothing on TV compares to that. This season has been incredible. It's the season that people are going to be talking about.
When you get to the end of the show's run, it's all about payoff, and everything's so shorthanded that big payoffs just go through real quick. There's dragons. Oh, one's dead. Oh, we're doing this. Oh, we're moving on to this. And it's shortchanging it. The stuff that's happening this season should have happened seasons ago, and the show has set up a specific pace that is completely abandoned in this final season, and it's forgotten what's made it special in exchange for spectacle.
I 100% disagree. The character development with Dany and Cersei and Jon Snow, all these characters, it's finally coming to a head. The reason that it feels like it's a breakneck pace is because this is what we've been waiting for. The show earned the season.
Cersei's basically been in one scene each episode. There's been very little character development for her. Characters just reappear out of nowhere, and their big moments happen within seconds because they don't have time to really give us the deep character moments, which is what we tune in the show for, the characters.
It's actually a really close one. What do you think, Brian? I'm coming to you first.
I personally, I started to lean towards DJ there at the end, and also being here for watching Thrones each week, I've seen a lot of fans echo a lot of the points that he was making, so I don't think he was making that argument just trying to last second find out a negative thing. That is a genuine feeling that people are getting with the pacing in the season.
Yeah, this entire season, it's like people are either loving or hating. It's crazy to see. Stacey, what do you think based on these arguments?
I like that Billy talked about earning the pace. So yes, it's been fast, but it's been set up for years and seasons past. So it feels fast because we've been anticipated so much, and it's finally paying off. And it's like boom, 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 boom. Everything we've been wanting is just being delivered. Yes. So I liked that argument.
I think DJ threw a lot of great daggers at Billy, and Billy didn't throw as many, but he responded well to all of them, and none of them were left he cleared them all up, and I think because of that, like you said, Stacey, he talked about them being earned. For me, Billy gets the point on this one. It was close, though. We tied up the game.
I thought the first 4 episodes of the season were basically perfect. The last 2 were fine. Great moments, man.
Yeah.
But overall, it was hard. Yay the season.
Are you one of those people who's really bothered by where they got the chains?
Yes,
No,
yes.
I'm more bothered
time.
about, maybe it's because I just recently watched Wind River, but the Gendry's ability to run through an icy night in the coldest region in the world and basically be fine. That was a little bit like, okay, now, but people argued about like, it's moving too fast. I'm like, no, it's fine. And then this last episode, I'm like, it's moving a little fast.
Yep. Okay.
I need to get some of those ravens. They'd be fast in traffic. And
You know, we did a thing on SJU this morning that someone like calculated out the math of like
Does it
how
work? Tell
fast
me
like
it
a
works.
dragon.
'Cause I want it to
any
work.
Crazy fan theory works if you bend enough.
Yeah,
You know?
but I want it to bend. I want it to work. I
I'm
really.
just buying you time. I don't know if you're ready.
Yeah, I'm ready now.
Okay.
I'm just blatantly making these up at this point. All right, so for this one, we're going to do a character round, which means you guys give the answers before
I
I
love
ask
these.
the actual question. So right now, all I need from you is the name of a TV character.
Danny Tanner.
Daredevil.
Okay. Billy, you'll be going first because you
Sure.
answered first. The question is, who would win TV fights? Who would win TV fights? Danny Tanner versus Daredevil.
Okay. Think about this for a second. So the one thing that Danny Tanner has going for him is organization, and really that is the key to winning TV fights. It's being organized. He has kept every TV guide that he ever has, and he has a history of TV. He loves TV. For God's sakes, he works in TV, so he probably knows a lot of these people. He has to watch these shows as research, whereas Daredevil's too busy.
Who would win a TV fight? Matt Murdock is a lawyer. His job is arguing. His job is making concise arguments to convince people that his perspective is the correct one. We've seen him do great lawyering work in Defenders and in Daredevil Season 1. He's an incredible arguer because that is his job.
Clearly, the amount of research you need in TV fights is a lot, which is why you shot me down a lot of times. Danny has the time to do the research. It's part of his job. That's what he does in a talk show, whereas Daredevil, all he has time to do is fight crime and research the law. He doesn't have time to go through all these TV shows.
His job is arguing, so if he was on TV fights, he would make the time to do the work, and he would also have a deep appreciation. If you heard the voiceover part for the fight on Daredevil, people that watch TV that way would have a deeper appreciation for what is happening.
What?
The Daredevil fight scene, there was like for the hearing impaired, they had a voiceover thing, and it was just very
I thought
visceral.
you were talking about John Bailey's VO at the beginning. I was like, wait, he would do the VO? I don't get it.
Ryan, what do you think on this one? This is another
This is
really
a hard,
close one.
This is a hard one.
Great question, right?
Yeah, I like this question a lot. I think Billy kind of alluded to this, but like just how like stubborn Danny Tanner would be, just how set in his ways. I think he'd be hard in a TV fight. But I mean, Daredevil with the lawyer part is so hard. And a lot of fans are pointing out, obviously, that he doesn't get to see half of the TV show. You know, half of the component of television. He would have a
Didn't wanna
huge
go there.
argument going against him.
Nobody
but
wanted to talk about him being blind.
Didn't want to go there.
So-
I realized
And
I
it's
may
about
have given that
argument.
up.
It's about the argument.
It's about the argument. So I think at the end of the day, I think Billy. I think I would go Billy in this
What
one.
do you think, Stacey?
I liked his argument back so he made a really good point that, he's a lawyer, he knows how to argue professionally, but then he was like, he doesn't have time to do the research to do those arguments. So that's tough for me. Oh, that's hard. That's really hard.
So you're torn.
I'm torn. I have no answer. I'm sorry. I'm useless.
I think that both the arguments are really strong, but I think that for anybody who thinks that, because I know that this isn't on people's mind, for anybody who thinks blind people don't watch television, that's just blatantly not true. They absolutely
Which
do.
is why just like, I'm not going to say that.
Yeah,
But
they absolutely do. And I think that DJ had an interesting argument about how they actually would remember more things because of the way that, and especially Daredevil, how he receives information. And him being a lawyer, it's just hard to beat. DJ, you get the point on this one.
Woo! This is intense.
Which means
This is a
that...
must win.
Which means that we're in a must-win situation here.
Hashtag TV fights, Matt.
Tough. This is... Wow. Okay. We're changing the question on the fly. All All right.
You always go with Danny Tanner if you can.
Remember that at home, kids.
I'm checking something really quick.
I love when we have to fact check a question before we ask it.
Just making sure.
I thought she was fact checking the Danny Tanner situation. Like, wait,
like,
do you
is
always
Danny
go with
Tanner?
Yeah, hold on.
I think the last time I was on TV Fights and there was a speed round question, I immediately, for a character round, I immediately picked Carl Winslow. I'm just gonna go
that
through
feels
them all.
good.
All right, I got it.
All right.
Who is TV's best Rob or Bob?
Bob Saget.
Bob Saget getting a lot of love this episode.
I'm sorry, I have to remember my Bobs or Robs.
Actor or character? TV's best Bob or Rob?
Bob from Bob's Burgers.
Billy, starting with you.
TV's best Bob. Yeah? That's the question. Look, as I've already pointed out, Bob Saget is an American treasure. He is America's dad. Everyone knows him from Full House, but also he, at the same time he was doing Full House, he was also doing America's Funniest Home Videos. But guess what? If the squeaky clean Bob's not your thing, he's also a hilarious dirty comedian that you can watch his stand-up on HBO. Bob Saget
is America's creepy dad. Bob Saget is the dad that has a daughter and then jokes about how hot she is. Bob from Bob's Burgers, not only is he a loving family man, not only does he put his family first, but he'll make you a nice burger and a nice variety of burgers too.
Bob's Burgers isn't even the best TV show with the name Bob in it. That would be the Bob Newhart show. You chose a terrible Bob. He's not memorable. No one knows Bob at all. Everyone knows Bob Saget. You could show Bob Saget to a stranger on the street. They're like, oh, that's the dad from Full House.
Yeah, but that wouldn't necessarily endear them to that person. If I saw a picture of Bob Saget, I'd immediately be repelled from Full House to his stand-up, whereas Bob's Burgers is a fun, happy show. Bob engenders happiness. And I would say...
Stacey, coming to you first. What do you think of the stronger arguments here?
I haven't eaten today, so I'm a little hungry. So you got me thinking about food. So I'm going with Bob's Burgers because he can make you a burger. That's it.
That's why he's TV's best Bob, because he can make you an animated
Billy.
burger. Thank you, Stacey.
Ryan, what are you thinking?
I'd lean DJ's argument as well. I'm not quite as hungry, but I'm still, I think just it's synonymous with a great TV show that a lot of people like, and his name's attached to that show. He's the leader of that show, and he leads it well. So I'd go with DJ.
Rob Lowe, Rob Stark.
Rob Stark.
I was trying to...
Bob Odenkirk.
I had Rob Lowe's
The Builder,
face
Bob.
in my brain, and I couldn't remember his name. I blanked on the
Bobby
name.
Newhart.
Good job, though, guys.
Bobby Newhart, that's a good one.
Honestly, I hear what you guys are saying, but I feel like you guys are letting your hunger take over. I think that talking about why he's TV's best, you named 2 of his shows, and creepy or not, he was known as America's daddy.
America's Zaddy?
I got Roxy to finally say America's daddy.
Yeah, God. I just thought of so many dirty jokes. Billy, you get the point on this one for me.
This is it.
It's down to the wire.
So this is now going to be the final question of the game. Are we ready? Aye, aye, Captain. I don't know why SpongeBob just came to my head.
Builder, can you fix it? Okay.
Okay. All right.
I know Roxy's evil laugh, so this will be good.
No, I'm just thinking about how to. Matt in the chat. Roxy wants to stretch the fight. No, Roxy wants to think of questions that Billy hasn't helped. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
all.
if you guys don't realize, Roxy and I come up with the speed round questions every week, so Roxy literally has to change them all because I knew them all going in.
But I have changed every one of them, so
You have
nobody's saying
changed,
that he's cheating.
you have changed every question.
Okay. Who is the best primary character on a superhero TV show?
Arrow from Arrow. Green
Okay.
Arrow from Arrow.
I will say Supergirl.
Starting with DJ.
Unlike most superheroes, Oliver Queen has gone on a clear arc on his show from somebody that is purely a weapon to a human being that is able to have friends and lead a team of people and wants to protect his city. It's one of the clearest character arcs we've ever had in superhero fiction and really takes you from brutal vigilante to swashbuckling superhero.
I don't know what version of Arrow you're watching. Oliver Queen is a lot of times just makes decisions that make you want to pull your hair out. His character is the reason why I feel like the show wasn't very good for a couple seasons, and he said it wasn't very good in season 4. Whereas Supergirl, she's a role model. Season 2, she broke out of her shell. It became like the most talked about of the Arrowverse shows. She's positive for girls. She's showing that she's just as strong as her cousin.
Supergirl is very positive, but that's kind of what she has going for her, just that positivity, where her arc is not as clear-cut as Oliver Queen's. The complexity of the characters in there, the ability to go from something...
Oliver's character hasn't been complex, it's been confused, it's been muddy, whereas Supergirl, this season, she had to deal with a lot of human things with her relationships. That's why she's been such a great character this whole time, because...
Billy says that when I don't notice, I make a lot of like really strange noises.
It's just
I feel
a lot
like
of
this is. He's like, "Are you okay?" I'm always like, so I feel like I'm doing that right now. Because you guys are making this really tough. Stacey, coming to you first. Who do you think had the stronger arguments?
Oh gosh. Gotta be honest, I wasn't really paying attention.
Cool. Checked out.
She's still hungry. She's still thinking about Bob's Burgers.
Yes,
I
I will take it.
Yeah.
What I will say though is you guys watching live are so awesome because we have more people watching live now than at any point during the show. So you guys really stuck in and told your friends.
Thanks,
I appreciate
guys.
that.
Nice.
So I'm not gonna go to you, Ryan. What do you think based on these arguments?
I was partial to Supergirl at first because I liked the show better, but as I heard the arguments, I think DJ made the strongest point out of any of that about how we kind of get to see Oliver both kind of start off as a standalone character, and then as the Arrowverse grows, he leads other characters as they come in. So I think we've seen him be a primary character better over the course of their runs.
JT, what do you think? He just woke up from his nap.
That was such an old man, like...
This one,
He says he would go with Billy, even though you guys can't hear him, because Arrow's confusing. So we're split, and Stacey didn't care anymore. I feel very torn on this, too, because I like... DJ's argument about the arc, I feel like a lot of it's talking about we just seen more of him. There's more to his story, and we've had more of the performance. And I feel like, Billy, your argument was great, but it was more about why she's important than why she is the best character. Like, we do need somebody who is a role model and who can help female and somebody to look up to, and we did see about her relationships. But I just got more from DJ and why the character has been so... amazing over time. Because of that, DJ, you get the point. It was so close, but therefore the TV Fights victor of the day.
It's a good argument.
For somebody, though, who was fighting somebody else's points, Billy
killed it.
Yeah,
Billy did a great job.
All of you guys just
was
nailed
a fun
it.
game.
Thanks for...
It's like you watch the
Sticking
show all the
with
time.
us.
It's
and
like
you know
I'm a
what to do.
Veronica Mars.
And which one of her friends would I be?
Veronica Mars, too.
Oh, that one.
Happy to be
That
here.
was a good
Happy to be
season.
here. Billy,
Veronica,
seriously,
thank you,
can't
sorry.
thank you enough for stepping
Yes.
in. You really killed it. That's why he's Billy Business, because he brought the business.
Brought
the
He
business.
brought the business
Yep.
to the business table.
At Billy A. Patterson. Happy anniversary to my fiance. I love you very much. And happy anniversary, Screen Junkies. It's been a fun year being here so far.
Is she watching?
Probably not, but maybe sometime.
Yeah.
Very, very cool. DJ, congratulations on your win today.
Thank you.
Awesome job there. Where can everybody keep up with you?
Oh, you can find me at DJ Talks Trash, every place that matters. You can check out my podcast, Only Stupid Answers with Sam Basher, on any podcast platform. And you can check out our Patreon for behind the scenes stuff. We just did a stream of The Defenders, and that all lives on our Patreon.
Awesome. Stacy, thanks for coming on. You killed it, girl. Where can everybody keep up with you?
You can find me on Twitter at SOHoward2012. I also just want to point out that I took copious notes today for our arguments. All it says is misery porn and hashtag sleeping Billy. So I just want everyone to know
Solid.
that. Also,
Pretty much summed it up.
Also, get this girl a burger.
Yeah,
she
please.
is hungry.
So hungry, you guys.
Yeah. Billy, who do we have coming on next time? Do you know?
Not
Somebody
off the top of
great.
my head.
Yeah.
Joe Starr will be here next week for
Joe
sure.
Starr.
So,
Damn,
I do
cool.
know that.
Very, very cool. Ryan, where can everybody keep up with you? Thanks for helping out today.
They can keep up with me by seeing us in these awesome chat boards at all the Screen Junkies live shows, or on Twitter at Ryan O'Toole, and then in between the O and the T is an underscore.
Ryan got a lot of love in the YouTube chat today.
Oh.
Like, a lot of love and support.
Ryan.
Go, Ryan.
Best fans. Thank
Get
you
it,
so
Ryan.
much.
All right, JT, you can take us out of here if you're awake at this point. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We'll see you next week, Tuesday, 4 p.m. We love you.
Bye-bye.
Thanks again to T-Mobile for sponsoring today's episode. Check out what makes them America's best unlimited network at T-Mobile.com/coverage.